Hey guys, it's Zeon, the realest motherfucker in the Dragon Ball community, and I am back with another Dragon Ball Super review. Now you may have noticed, this is a little bit different from what you're used to seeing with these reviews. This is going to be the new format. Hope you like it. I'll explain in a video in the very near future why the format has changed. But trust me, it will be for the better, even if it's not as aesthetically pleasing. Now this time around I am reviewing episode 22, and it was fucking garbage. Like, you guys already knew that I was not gonna like this episode. I already said, like, what would make me really pissed off, and it did the thing, and I knew they were gonna do that thing that I was gonna be pissed off about. I was not prepared for what they were going to do with this episode, the rest of it, and just how many missed opportunities they had, and how shit this episode ended up being overall. Okay, first off, before I go into full-blown ranty, angry Zeon, let me just get something straight. I have no problem with Tagema's level of power right now, like from where he was before to where he is now. We've got to see a little bit of his training. We know his training basically consisted of just Frieza beating him to near death over and over, healing him, beating him down, healing him, beating him down. It was pretty relentless, and it just really pushed this guy to his physical limits. Every single day, like whatever he could possibly take, to the near edge of death, and then being brought back to full health. So yeah, like I could see that kind of, making him stronger. And yes, he got ridiculous gains from this, but I mean, if you're really gonna throw a fit about that, I mean, have you watched Dragon Ball Z? Like, seriously? I mean, does anyone remember the Saiyan arc where for like 1 year, Yamcha and Tenshinhan and Kuririn did the exact same training that Goku did for 3 years, and they were past Raditz levels of power, where before, like, Goku, for 3 years did the exact same training, and he was not even half their fucking power that they got from less than a year, and he's supposed to be the great Saiyan warrior who freaking gains ridiculous amounts of power in very little amounts of time, yet, he got completely passed by them doing the exact same training. Then, there's Piccolo, who, like, trains in the woods for, like, a year, and next thing you know, he's, like, almost Nappa tier. Then, he spends 6 days on Kaio's planet meditating, and now he's strong enough to where Nail is impressed with his power before when he was below Nappa's power. That's fucking insane. So yeah, this series has seen way crazier leaps in power through that made far less sense than this. I have no problem with how Tagema is displayed, how his power's been increased. I have no problem with that. I do have a problem with Frieza, though, considering his training seemed to consist of beating the ever-living shit out of Tagema every single day. Not quite sure how the hell that makes him stronger. Really hope they explain more of his training, because if that's all they're going to tell us is he beat the shit out of Tagema and that's how he got so goddamn powerful, I'm going to call bullshit. And then I kind of really wish they wouldn't have shown us any of his training, because at least then I could have just filled it in with my imagination, because I was fine doing that originally with the movie. But, if they're going to show me that little bit and just that little bit, I'm going to call fucking horseshit on Frieza's current status of power. That would be fucking ridiculous. Now, let's jump into the actual review. First off, Gotenks shows up. I was really excited. Yeah, Gotenks, he's here. That's something I really wanted to see in Resurrection F that I didn't get. And I was really excited. He shows up, fucking knocks Tamaga in the dick. It was fucking hilarious. And then he defuses. He has been on the battlefield for about 30 seconds and defuses. I don't know how well you guys remember your Dragon Ball lore, but the fusion lasts for 30 fucking minutes, not 30 fucking seconds. And you can say oh, well, we don't know how long it took him to get there. Well, considering they started traveling from the point that Tagema flared his ki up, and Tagema took down everybody in one fucking hit, and then Gotenks immediately just shows up and dick hits him, it wasn't that long. And the fact that we saw them flying off, separate, and then they show up to the battlefield means they probably fused after they had already gotten there, and then Dick shot at Tagema. So that was fucking stupid. It was bullshit. It was one of the worst inconsistencies I've seen in the series so far, all for the sake of a dumb fucking joke, and waste a goddamn opportunity. You had the opportunity to do something cool, have a really awesome fight scene with Gotenks, maybe Gohan, and Piccolo, everyone is kind of taking on Tagema. It could have been really fucking awesome, and no. You didn't do that. You instead just have them immediately defuse for the sake of a stupid fucking joke that pretty much just goes directly against, you know, established Dragon Ball lore. Another thing that was really disappointing is that whenever they defused, Frieza recognizes them. He goes, oh, it's, you know, like, he looks like Goku, and he looks like that guy who cut me in half. Oh, shit, and you think, like, some real shit's about to go down. That's another thing I really, really was looking forward to seeing, because, you know, it's something I was really wanting to see in Resurrection F, and it didn't happen, so it was happening here. I was really excited, and nothing happens. He recognizes them, he acknowledges the similarities, he gets kind of pissed off for a second, and then just chills the fuck out, and nothing fucking comes of this. So right off the bat, we have two wasted opportunities, one of which fucking goes directly against pre-established Dragon Ball lore, and I'm already super fucking pissed, and we haven't even got to the thing that really pissed me off. The thing that I said was going to piss me off, so already I am not a happy goddamn camper. And the thing that really pissed me off, obviously, was Tagoma being switched out with Ginyu. First off, when he switches out with Ginyu, it's Tagoma that says change. Ginyu writes change in an alien language on the ground, and then Tagoma says it and they swap. That is not how this ability has been established before. It isn't. Like, it's always been Ginyu that has to say it. In fact, in Dragon Ball Z and in Dragon Ball Kai, you know, yes, this is filler, but it is still something that happened, and it's something that even Dragon Ball Super acknowledges. Bulma had her body switched out with Ginyu the Frog, and she had to make that little translator box for him. So then you have to wonder now, if he could have, this entire time, just wrote change, and had someone else say it, and him swap out with them, why did he not just do that to a random human? I mean, yeah, like, he'd have to write it in a language that they understand, but he's been on Earth for how long? He couldn't learn, like, anything in Japanese or English that someone could read, just write change, and have them say change, and then, you know, swapped out with them, and then, you know, very slowly, like, work his way up, maybe infiltrate the Z Fighters, do something fucking interesting, you know, do some kind of tactical espionage action. Nope. Fuck no. He just... So yeah, the fact that they went that route really goddamn pissed me off, because one, like I said, doesn't make any fucking sense that he went this entire time never fucking doing this if this was a goddamn option. Two, like I said, it completely contradicts what has been pre-established in the franchise. It completely goes against how his ability works. It's his goddamn ability. How is someone else saying change gonna swap them out? It made no goddamn sense. Pissed me the fuck off. Well, a lot of things pissed me off. And another thing, and one of those things was, Tagoma's ability is, you know, his full power is at Ginyu's full disposal. You know, he has like a little line about like, oh, I need to get used to this body. Didn't really need much time, because he just starts tearing the shit out of everybody. He's a fucking beast, just like Tagoma was before, so he has like full access to Tagoma's power, which once again goes against what has been previously established, that you have to get used to new bodies. Ginyu had to get used to his body whenever he was in Goku. Then Goku had to get used to his God body. Yeah, whenever you switch, you know, kind of body types, you need to get used to the new powers, new ability. And yeah, this completely just contradicts that, throws it out the fucking window. They could have had, you know, they could have done a lot with this. They could have had him start off weaker and have like the Z Fighters, you know, starting to like, you know, gain a little bit of an edge of Tagoma, and then, you know, or Ginyu, and then Ginyu slowly starts to like, you know, unlock more and more power, becoming more of a threat. But they didn't do that. No, instead they just had him have full disposal of his power and just one-shot everybody. Like I said, just one more missed opportunity. But I guess they couldn't have spent too much time showing epic-ass fight scenes and cool kind of battle dynamics, because they had to waste at least 3 minutes of this episode recapping Ginyu's fucking backstory. Why do we need to go back through Ginyu's backstory? You know, like, I've seen Dragon Ball Z, and I'm pretty sure if you're watching Super right now, you've seen Dragon Ball Z, so why is the show assuming that we have not fucking seen DBZ? In fact, this entire arc hinges on a major villain from DBZ coming back, and Ginyu is from the exact same arc that Frieza is from, which is why Ginyu is back. That's the whole parallel they went with. So why are they assuming that, like, I've seen the Frieza arc, but I wouldn't remember who the fuck Ginyu is? Or are they just trying to pad things out because they don't feel like animating fight scenes? Instead, they'd rather just have a still frame of Tagoma with his mouth moving, talking about what the fuck he's been doing. So yeah, that entire sequence was a complete waste of time. We really didn't need it. I mean, you could say like, well, they need to reestablish Ginyu. You know who the fuck Ginyu is, and if you don't know who the fuck Ginyu is, then why the fuck are you watching this show? This is the fourth fucking installment of the Dragon Ball animated franchise. If you have no clue who Ginyu is, why the fuck are you watching this? You shouldn't be watching this. You should go back and watch fucking Dragon Ball Z or Kai or something else. This show isn't meant for you, goddammit. So the else I found really irksome was that Gohan cannot tap into his full power. I'm assuming what he means by this is that he can't tap into his ultimate form, you know, his form that the Elder Kaioshin unlocked for him. And I would be completely fine with this if he hadn't have used this ability in the previous arc. During the Beerus arc, he used his ultimate form. He hadn't trained for 4 years, was still able to tap into it. Doesn't train for another year, and all of a sudden, he can't tap into that, and he can barely hold Super Saiyan 1. He says, like, if he doesn't know how long his body can hold out. How fucking weak has Gohan gotten? Like, I don't mind Gohan being weak. I mean, Gohan hasn't trained. Fine. Whatever. But the fact that, like, last arc, that was, you know, like, he goes 4 years without training, still able to tap into it, and then a year after having tapped into that power, he can't do it anymore? He lost this ability. That's kind of bullshit. Like, either they should have just had him go in his ultimate form in this arc, or they never should have had him go in his ultimate form in the Beerus arc. They could have just retconned that thing from the movie. They could have just had him had a line of dialogue saying, it's been too long, I haven't trained, I can't use this form, and just left it at that. But they didn't. They decided to just go this bullshit route of, well, now he can't use it arbitrarily because. And while we're on the topic of Gohan's power, let's talk about power scaling. How is it that Gohan is supposedly like this much weaker, yet like he can drop Taguma in 2 hits, yet Taguma like completely just destroys Piccolo like he's a bitch? What the fuck even happened there? I have no problem with Piccolo being weaker than SS1 Gohan. That is fine. You know, Gohan's been through some battles. He's got this shit kicked out of him a few times. I mean, he got a freaking hole through his chest, Zenkai boost, sure, whatever. But god damn, the power scaling just seems off. Like, you know, Piccolo being that much weaker than Gohan, especially considering Piccolo's supposed to be the character that they're going to drag into this Universe 6 tournament arc. Spoilers if you didn't know that, Piccolo's going to be in this tournament in the next arc. So if Piccolo's supposed to be this much weaker, then why even bring him? Just fucking bring Gohan instead. If Gohan's already stronger than him, just fucking make Gohan train. We know Gohan has like this natural ability to gain for these massive gains. Why not fucking bring him? And while I'm on the Piccolo bitch fest, what the fuck happened to his regen ability? Like, what is up with his durability? I've bitched about this in my plot holes video. I'm gonna bitch about it here. He takes one shot to the chest, drops. Why can't he regenerate? And you guys say, well, he can only regenerate his limbs. No bullshit, because if you remember, in the Majin Buu arc, he states as long as his head is intact, he can regenerate. And don't even feed me that bullshit of, well, he took a lot of damage, so, you know, his ki was really low. The only damage he took was a kick to the sternum from Taguma and then the blast to the chest. Do not tell me that caused more damage than having his entire freaking body just into pieces. You know, but he could still regenerate from that. But no, he couldn't regenerate from this hole in the chest. Bullshit. You know, it's one of the many inconsistencies with Piccolo's character, specifically with his regenerative abilities. You know, it's like, oh, well, we established this thing in the Majin Buu arc, so that's how it works now. Except for when we needed to, because we need to artificially create a sense of tension. Now, this episode isn't without its merits. There are at least 2 things I really, really liked. First off, Goku and Vegeta's training, the thing that's going on behind me. I like that. I really, really, really like that. You know, they're setting up, you know, they're building up the SSG SS form, and they're building it up, and they're giving it a lot more foreshadowing than I thought it was going to get. I really thought they were just going to, like, show up, you know, do some random bullshit, be like, yeah, we got this form, lazy-ass explanation of how they got it. No, they're setting it up in a really interesting way, and I'm really excited to see the full explanation of how this form works, what it is, and how they end up, you know, utilizing it in the TV version of this arc. Another scene I really liked was the Gohan torture scene, like whenever Frieza is just blasting holes in Gohan. God, that was fucking visceral, like, like it made Frieza look like a goddamn monster. And I mean, yeah, he's Frieza, he's a goddamn monster. But this was goddamn brutal. It was painful to almost watch, and yeah, I loved that scene too. It was a very well executed scene. They hit all the right notes with that. It was perfect, great, loved that too. Unfortunately, those are just 2 gorgeous diamonds and a sea of shit. And those 2 gorgeous diamonds is not enough to elevate this episode as a whole. In fact, all the shit that I've listed in this video, like all my complaints, is enough for me to say that this is by far, this is the worst episode of Super. And it blows my mind that there are people who, you know, acknowledge these issues and they still go, well, it's not that bad, I still really enjoyed it, it's okay, it had problems, but, you know, I can forgive that, you know, it didn't stop me from enjoying the episode. Well, what the fuck does it take for you to not enjoy an episode of Dragon Ball? Like, you know, do you have to, you know, have Toriyama kick your door in and take a shit on your chest while you're watching it to go, that was a really unpleasant viewing experience? No, like, you know, people need to stop giving this show, like, a free pass and being like, oh, it's okay, it's not that bad, and just ignore all these problems. No, fuck you, these are legit problems. Like, at this point, this series has more inconsistencies and fucking plot holes than GT could ever fucking hope to. We are 22 episodes into this fucking series, and already, it's already surpassed GT in terms of plot holes. In fact, GT didn't even have that many. It has way less than people want to fucking claim it does. And yeah, this is fucking ridiculous. It was bullshit. Also, another thing that was bullshit was, because I was reminded by seeing that in the monitor, the fucking amount of flashbacks in this episode was bullshit. I've bitched about this before, I'm gonna bitch about it now. There was not one, not two, not three, but not four, but five. 5 flashbacks to Dragon Ball Kai. Why? And why are you friggin' reusing this footage? Just reanimate it. I mean, you fucking, like, reanimated the scene of Ginyu the Frog. Thank God, like, you reanimated the scene of Ginyu the Frog running from a girl frog. We really needed that. Thank you, Toei, from the bottom of my heart for reanimating that and none of the other sequences that you fucking did, like that one right there, that is pissing me off. Fuck you. Okay, I'm gonna stop here before I have a goddamn aneurysm. This episode was shit. Like I said, probably the worst goddamn episode of this series so far. Is it the worst episode of the franchise? Probably not. I'm sure there's like some random ass filler episode that's fucking garbage. Probably something from like the fake Namek arc. I'm pretty sure, you know, that as a whole is worse than this episode. But, you know, overall, yeah, this episode was garbage. Hopefully next week's episode will be better. I don't know. I guess we'll just wait and find out. Till then, Zeon out.